Hi Rajdeep, welcome on your PDA.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Wonderful, Rajdeep. Thanks a lot. And Rajdeep, let me thank you for the time you provided for this
No,
interaction.
not sure.
And this interaction is going to be very, very useful because you are presently pursuing your master's in a very, very reputed
Correct.
university in Italy, that is Politecnico di Milano. That is very, very reputed university, top among top universities in the world. And to be very honest, I mean, there are very less informative videos on our this channel related to Italy. And though this university is very, very reputed, people, students want to join this university, but still, I believe that information coming from your side will be really helpful to them. So, without wasting more time, I'll start directly, and I start with your background, Rajdeep. So, please tell us which part of India you are from, and what is your undergrad course, and
Okay.
your little bit journey before you, went there for
Sure, sure.
masters.
So I'll just address everyone. Hello, my name is Rajdeep Bhattacharya. I'm from Kolkata, and I did my bachelor's in materials engineering, metallurgical and materials engineering from NIT Jaipur. I graduated in 2022, and then after that, I was working in L&T construction for a couple of years. Up until 2024. So I was working as a business development engineer for mining equipment, so which was a bit related to metallurgy and mining. And after that, I always had my like plans to study abroad for a master's degree, and I applied in 2024. And since 2024 September, I am pursuing a similar course, which is materials engineering and nanotechnology. That's what the specialization is in Politecnico di Milano in Italy, and it's been 1 year since then, and now I'm on my semester break. Yeah, so that's overall my background.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Rajdeep, I'll be asking you very, very straightforward questions, and all my questions
sure.
are actually on the basis of what queries students have. So,
Hmm.
you said that you were working in L&T, and my question to you is the present course which you are pursuing in the university,
Yeah.
is it matching
Mhm.
with what work you were doing with L&T?
No, not entirely, because the work I was doing in L&T was more related to the mining scenario, but you can draw some sort of correlations because in mining engineering, basically we're dealing with materials, right? And so it was the supply chain was a bit different, but there was correlations which I obviously showed during my applications. There was not a one-on-one correspondence, but some aspects are there. For example, like mineral processing these courses are correlated, but there was not a one-on-one correlation. Yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
if I'm a candidate prospective students of this
Mhm.
university and I'm looking forward to join this university and seeing my credentials, can you tell Rajdeep
Mhm.
very clearly that what credentials these universities look for in their prospective students?
Sure, sure. So there is not a hard and fast rule and like a set of particular credentials. It is like I have said even before that it is an overall evaluation. So firstly, they will be looking at your CGPA. For example, when you're going to be applying in these universities, they have a mandate that you need to have at least 7.5 equivalent greater than that of CGPA.
Mhm.
Then they will also go through what you're studying. For example, when I was applying, I had to upload the entire course list so that they can match and see whether you're actually eligible for this particular course or not. Because some people they try to study some completely different course and apply to like computer science or something else, which is a bit of a bridge that you cannot do. That's the second. Then thirdly, they will be looking into your research background. So, for example, if you have done some projects, if you have undertaken some independent projects or not, which like supplements your profile, that is an added bonus. Also, if you have publications, because again, this is an academic application. So, if you have publications that shows that you have some research prowess, or this is something you're actually interested in, that has some weightage. If you have published papers, that also adds to your advantage. For example, if you have, I had one paper published before I applied, and when I was applying, there was some direct correlation with certain courses that was being taught in this university. So that shows that you have a direct, goal in mind. That when you're applying, that you know what you're trying to do. Along with that, if you have job experience, relevant job experience, like I said, I was working in the mining field, so I could draw some correlation with that. That also has some weightage. And all in all, what is one of the most important thing is your statement of purpose, because they will, that is, I think pretty much everyone knows this, but that is the one-on-one correspondence to you and your evaluator.
Mm.
That's how you can actually show them that how you're interested, why you're interested. Are you actually interested in this course, or you just want to do it for the sake of doing it? So that has a good amount of weightage, and also your English language certificate. So it's an
Mm.
overall evaluation. So अगर ऐसा होगा कि someone has very high CGPA and they're applying and they don't have any background to support them, it's not likely that they will be selected. But someone with a very balanced profile have has and a very direct set of goals, they have more chances of selection. So yeah, that's what I believe, and that's what I have seen happening.
Okay, so let me ask you some very one-liner questions which are
Sure.
more or less like misconception among students. Uh, do
Mhm.
you need to have very premium institutes in your undergrad like IITs, NITs to land up in the such universities?
Not necessarily, because I have been there for 1 year, right? And I've seen some colleagues of mine who have been from like third tier, fourth tier universities. But
Okay,
that is just one step in your entire
that is one
application
part.
process.
Yes, yes.
That's, let's just say, they go into those universities and they have really good grades, like 9+ CGPAs, and they have done independent projects. They've worked with internships from IITs and NITs. So even if you're not from these premier institutes, you can always supplement your profile by doing more once you're there. So
Yes.
if you, let's say, you land an internship in an NIT or an IIT, or if you have a good internship with a company,
Mm.
so that just overshadows the fact that you're from a third tier college. Nobody cares anymore, because it's just a degree. So it is a
Yeah.
very common misconception. People coming from, like not so reputed universities, thinking that they're not going to make it, but generally they don't care. It's just a part. Yeah.
Okay. My second question, again, misconception. So, do
Yeah.
you need to have job experience of couple of years before you land up in master's courses in these universities?
Okay, that is a bit of a subjective question. For example, specifically for Italy, not necessarily,
Hmm.
because they did not have any particular criteria. You need to have job experience. But I was also applying to Sweden when I was applying for masters.
Hmm.
So they
Hmm.
had a specific criteria that okay, if you have previous job experience, then it has, like, let's say, 30%
Hmm.
weightage on your overall evaluation profile.
Hmm.
If you have job experience, then it's okay. It's seen as a positive point. That means that you know how to deal with industry. You know how researchers are actually accumulated to something, working in the global value chain. But
Hmm.
not necessarily. That's my answer. But if you have it, it's a plus point.
Very
If you don't have
advantageous.
it, you can
Hmm.
supplement advantages. If you don't have it, you can just supplement it with a couple of more internships or something like that.
So,
Exactly.
so see these all these credentials like premium background of premium college or very good CGPA or all
Mhm.
these things. Obviously, there are advantages, but they are not a handicap.
Absolutely.
Like if you don't have,
No, no,
then you will not get it. It is not like that, as
no,
per my
no,
understanding.
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
So Rajdeep, now coming to these premium institutes where you are doing your masters, my question to you, you referred that you cannot shift over to the courses. Like suppose you are in undergrad, you have done some courses, and
Mhm.
now you want to shift over entirely to a new
Mhm.
course.
Mhm.
I keep on
Mhm.
interacting with so many students who say that, sir, we have done our engineering in, let's say,
Mhm.
biotechnology or chemical or civil, but
Mhm.
now we want to
Mhm.
shift over to AI. Then I ask them that, have
Mhm.
you studied, have you read these courses in undergrad in your transcripts? Is it mentioned? They say, no, it is not mentioned. So I would
Mhm.
like to take your opinion on that, Rajdeep. How a student should choose his master's
Mhm.
course? Maybe he's interested in AI, he's interested in computer science,
Yes.
he's
Yes.
interested in business, but he has
Mhm.
not done
Mhm.
that course in the undergrad. So what is a
Okay.
safe
Mhm.
thing for him?
Okay, that is also a fine line. For example, when I said that it's not impossible. It's not easy. So
Mm.
let's say you have done civil engineering, and all of a sudden you write them an SOP. Hey, I'm just interested in AI and ML, and that's why I want to pursue a master's degree. So the evaluators will feel like, okay, how do we know that you have some sort of prowess in this particular domain, right? So in order to bridge that gap, let's say even if you don't have those courses done, you can always, you know, do your own courses, try to get some internships, try to write some papers, try to do some review papers, at least show that you have some sort of interest and some sort of background and some sort of goal. That is actually going to help you to do a career in from these different streams, because a lot of people do it, but
Mm.
just that it's not easy. It just, you have to bridge the gap and you have to sell a convincing story that
Mm.
yes, I started with this particular branch, but I was interested in the other one, so that's why I have done this
Okay.
to bridge the
Mm.
gap.
Mm.
That
Mm.
is how you can go through with this. It's not impossible, and nowadays you also have a lot of AI-driven courses which have a direct correlation with, let's say, additive manufacturing with AI, or let's
Mm.
say, I was looking for a Erasmus program which was like material science, like application of artificial intelligence in material science. So they have these courses. So applying to these courses would be a safer option because the criteria would have certain technical background knowledge that you require. But I would suggest if you're applying to a particular course in AI and ML, please go through the criteria that are required. For example, अगर वो लोग पूछ रहे कि we want these courses to be done during your undergraduate courses, undergraduate study. If you don't meet those certain criteria, then it does not make sense in applying to these universities.
Mm.
Or you can also send an email and ask them, hey, okay, you know what, I have done similar courses from, let's say, NPTEL, SWAYAM or something. Could you consider it? And they can respond to you, but then if you don't have a clear-cut idea that if it's going to not cover your eligibility criteria, then it's a bit difficult. But again, like I
Mm.
said, it's not impossible.
Okay,
A
so
lot
it's
of
a very
people do
good
it.
point. Yeah, it's a very good point, Rajdeep. Like, अगर
Yeah.
आप इन कोर्सेज में जाना भी चाहते हैं तो कुछ लिंक बैठा लें.
जी.
जैसे if you're chemical
Exactly.
engineer and AI का application in
Mhm.
chemical, AI application
Mhm.
in additive manufacturing, AI
Mhm.
application in structures. So application of these emerging technologies with your core branch, and that
Mhm.
reflects your suitability for such courses, I believe.
Exactly, exactly. And also
Mm.
during your bachelor's degree, you can work with your professors. Like a lot of professors, even when I was doing metallurgical engineering, I had professors who were working with AI and material sciences. Like image processing to see microstructures, or like making models, or for finding the dynamic, like I don't exactly know how molecular dynamic models with AI. These all मतलब ऐसे होता रहता है. So if you get into those research groups, and if you have some papers or at least something, at least some amount of knowledge that you can also speak during the interview or in your SOP, that's when they are
Mm.
convinced that okay, this guy knows what he's doing and he has a clear-cut goal, and they will definitely consider you and let you in. So it's
Okay.
not impossible, like I said. Yeah.
Okay, Raji, now, please tell us something about your university in which you are doing your
Mhm.
masters. Where
Mhm.
this university stands, what is the ranking, and what is
Uh-huh.
this university? Yeah.
So I'm doing my master's from Politecnico di Milano. It's the number one engineering college in Italy, and it's I think number 26 in the world. And this time for QS ranking, it got under 100, so I think it's 98 or something.
Okay.
It has a lot of it's a very industry-driven school, and they offer a lot of engineering streams. From mechanical engineering, chemical, all the main technical streams, as well as computer science. It's one of the major schools for design and architecture, so it's probably
Okay.
top five in the world for architecture. And the courses here are 2-year courses, and these are English taught courses.
Mm.
So which is a very important detail, because if you're looking for different courses in even in Italy or Germany, some of the courses are the native language taught. My course is English taught, and it's a 2-year course. And yeah, I mean it's a really good school. I
Okay.
mean it's quite challenging. The period is
Okay.
nice, so I'm enjoying
So,
it.
Raji, when we talk about India, we say, okay, NITs,
Yeah.
IITs, premium institutes. When we talk about US, we
Mm-hmm.
say Ivy Leagues. When we talk about
Mm-hmm.
Australia, we say university group of 8 universities. When we say
Mm-hmm.
Germany, we say technical universities.
PUs,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when we come to Italy, what do we say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Politecnico. You to have two
Politics.
or three universities. Politecnico di Milano, which is the number one. Politecnico di Torino. These are the two. And then you also have two really good universities. Which one of them is the University of Rome in Sapienza, which is the oldest university in Europe. And then so the top 4 or 5 universities in Italy are really good. They're really good feeder schools for industries. They're really good feeder schools for researchers. And I know a lot of people who are going to US from just for a PhD. They have good collaborations, So I would say these top 5 schools, and Politecnico is one of the best. And even in Europe, when you go, Politecnico is probably up there with the TUs and the KU Leuvens and the other ones, and TU Delft, similar ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many universities in Italy will you recommend Indian students should aspire to join?
In terms of engineering.
Yeah. Maybe you can link it up to STEM, science, technology, engineering,
Okay, okay.
mathematics, all.
Yeah, yeah. So for STEM, I would say I personally I think I applied to 3, but I was planning to apply to like 5.
Okay.
So the top ones in order would be number one is is Politecnico di Milano, and then you have University of Rome Sapienza. Sapienza is a bit उसमें like BSc courses कुछ I think ज़्यादा होते हैं. And it has a lot of courses from philosophy, history, etc., economics. It's also a very good school for engineering. Then you have Politecnico di Torino, that is also a very engineering heavy school. Then you also have University of Padova,
Mm.
which is
Yeah.
located in Venice, and I think University of Trento. Yeah, I would recommend these five universities. Yes.
Okay. So now, Rajdeep, normally I ask my students who are in different countries, like if somebody in Sweden, why a student should join Sweden? Somebody in Ireland, why
Mhm.
somebody should go to Ireland, Singapore, Germany? I'll ask
Mhm.
you why somebody should come to Italy. What are the advantages?
Okay. Firstly, the reputation of the universities. Okay, like the top three or four universities that I'm telling you will easily rank within the top 200 universities in the world. Firstly, the people who are academically driven, the quality of education is very good and very different. There is going to open up a lot of opportunities for you, especially if you're looking forward to do a PhD. So for when I initially joined, my sole idea was that I want to go for a master's and then go for a PhD, and it's a very good feeder school for these really good Ivy League schools. Secondly, the job market is, I mean, I think I also spoke about this in the last video. The job market is a bit stagnant compared to other countries like Germany or the US, but it's quite good if you're in the northern part of Italy, like Milano, because the economic center of Italy is essentially in the northern part. So right after graduation, I think 90 to 95% people find a job within the first 6 months. It's
Mm.
quite engineering heavy. The manufacturing sector is quite good, and then they are also adopting. I mean, they're trying to move into circular economy, so there's jobs coming up in the energy sector as well.
Mm.
And apart from the academics part, the quality of life, I had a lot of factors that I wanted to choose. It's a bit cheaper if you consider other countries up in the north in Scandinavia. And then I also had the climate in mind. I know it's not a deciding factor, but then if I had to live for 2 years, then I thought about that, the culture, the environment. So it was an informed decision for me, for a balanced decision.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say those are the ones. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Rajdeep, please tell something about the timeline, like when these universities
Mhm.
applications open up, because you said you joined somewhere in September. So, what was the typical
Yeah.
timeline and for these universities?
Okay, so the universities are not like the ones in US. I think for the US, the timelines they start from November, early October, or something
October,
like
November,
that.
yeah.
Correct?
Mm.
Yeah. For Italy, it's very distributed depending on the university. So you have to do your own research. For example, when I was applying to Politecnico, it has three calls. One of the calls is in November. The second call is in January to February, and there's a third call in I think March or April, right? You are obviously it's first come first serve. Like if you apply in the early calls, you have more chances of selection because the number of seats go down. So the timeline I would say is you have to keep in mind that you need to have your documents ready by September end, October, so that you
Mm.
can do your applications from November. And for some of the other universities, like University of Padua, University of Politecnico di Torino, the first call itself is from January to February. So in that case, you can have your documents done from December. So if someone wants to start their process, of course, as you know that उसमें काफी time लगता है, आपको बहुत सारे documents prepare करना होता है, SOP लिखना है, resume करना है, you have to shortlist. I would say start as early as possible, August, September. So you can have like 3 months time to have your own research done and then apply. And so, yeah, so my answer is from November, it goes up till end of February. Yeah.
Okay. So, but that is application season you suggested and told, and to
Mhm.
prepare yourself and keep everything on table, all the documents ready. I
Mhm.
think this is the right time. We are talking, we're shooting this interaction
Absolutely.
in
Yeah,
August.
yeah, yeah.
So I think August, September is the most crucial month for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, so what are the things required, Rajdeep? Like IELTS is required or GRE is required. What are the
Yeah,
requirements?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. GRE is not required. At least I'm specifically speaking for Italy. GRE is not required. IELTS or TOEFL, an equivalent English language certificate is required. So people should get it done within September as early as possible. And उसमें band score चाहिए होता है, I think around 6.5 or 7, depending on the universities that you're going to. I think for Politecnico it was 6.5 or 7, but if someone has a 7 or 7.5, then they can pretty much apply to any university in Europe. Um, yeah, for documents के लिए यही चाहिए होता है, and then the regular, your resume, your SOPs, and then recommendation letters, depending on the universities, maybe a couple of recommendation letters. I gave one from my workplace and one from my professor.
Mm.
And yeah, the usual, so GRE का requirement नहीं है. That's also, if you're not doing IELTS, there's something called medium of instruction certificate. जो कि क्या होता है कि if you did your bachelor's degree in English, in your transcript it shows that the medium of language was English. So in certain universities you can just provide that instead of IELTS. So if someone is not willing to do that, they can do it.
Mm. Okay. And is it language of Italian language is required for you to pursue masters there?
Not really, because like I said, the master's degrees, they are inherently taught in English. All the professors are very fluent in English, and the medium of instruction is English. उसके लिए it is not necessary, but if you want a job in Italy, if you're willing to work there, it is absolutely quintessential, because it's a simple math. अगर आपको जर्मनी में भी काम करना है, even if it's an
तो वो सीखना
international
पड़ती है।
environment, you आपको सीखना पड़ेगा. Even if you're trying to work in part time, right? Suppose if you want to earn some extra money, जैसे Milan में, if I want to work as a waiter or like in a coffee shop, so you will mostly be dealing with local people, and they don't speak a lot of English. So उसके लिए it's just like to get by, you should learn the language. That can be done once you're there in the country, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, Rajdeep, now we are coming to the most important question in the minds of the students, and
Mm-hmm.
that is related to finance. So, when we think of
Mm-hmm.
pursuing masters abroad, then chances of getting scholarship are bleak, and we think that how much cost it will incur to me to pursue my masters from abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So, please tell us
Yeah, yeah.
if somebody is to think of pursuing masters from Italy,
Mm-hmm.
Polytechnic de
Yeah.
Milano, and all these universities, how much money is required?
Mm-hmm.
Reserve.
Okay, so one of the good things when I was so money was definitely a deciding factor for me to choose Italy, because if you compare it to the US and the Canadas and the Australias, Europe may the tuition fees are considerably cheaper. Italy, it's very cheap. For example, if you want to pursue a master's in, let's say, Politecnicos or University of Padova, the yearly tuition fees would be something like 4 lakhs, 4 lakhs to 5 lakhs, right? So,
Mm,
those साल में you end up paying 10 to 12 lakhs in tuition fees. I
mm,
think, which is very less comparable to other universities, right?
mm, mm,
And
mm.
then उसके साथ आपका जो expenses होगा would be like like your living expenses. That will be very varying, depending on which part of Italy you're from. Because since I live in Milan, Milan is probably one of the most expensive cities in Europe, and also obviously the most expensive city in Italy. So that is quite मतलब मान के चलिए कि you will end up spending 800 to 1,000 euros per month with rent and with food, etc. Of course, you can bring it down like 700, 800, depending on your living situation. But for 2 years, if you're thinking, like I'm going to be spending like 800 euros a month, living expenses, I'll think 18, 17, 16 to 18 lakhs after living expense लगेगा, and then 10 lakhs would be your tuition fees.
Okay.
So 25 to 30, if you're not getting any scholarship, then 25 to 30 lakhs is expense that you'll be incurring.
Okay. And
For Italy, yeah, go on. Sir.
no, I think you were giving some point.
No, I was going to talk to you about the scholarships, but I guess you're going to ask me that about
Yeah, so I'm
university.
going to ask that only. Like you said that if you're
Mhm.
not getting any scholarship, then including your
Mhm.
stay, as you said, is 25 to 30
Exactly.
lakh rupees, you can manage, make it.
Yeah,
But I have,
maximum, yeah.
yeah, so but I know two things. One is I think scholarship can be there. So I was interacting
Mm.
with one of my students who is in RWTH in Germany. He told me that he got
Yeah,
no
yeah.
scholarship in the beginning, but in the second semester itself, he could get
Hmm.
some kind of RA or something from professor.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
also, I would like to ask you is like after 1 year, I think you can go for internship. So is it not that
Hmm.
second year you have the opportunity to earn also?
Absolutely.
And what is the process
Yes.
to get the scholarship? Please throw some light on that.
Okay, I will talk to you about the scholarship in a little bit of detail. Okay,
Yes.
so for example, I have a scholarship. I have a full scholarship, and they also pay me like 9,000 euros a year. So, which is a merit-based scholarship. So in Italy, you have two types of scholarships. Number one is need-based scholarships, and number two is merit-based scholarships. Right? The need-based scholarships is based on जैसे हम लोगों का in ITs IITs में होता है that you show the family income certificate, and if you're coming under a specific bracket, then your tuition fees are subsidized or they're completely waived off. It's the similar case in Italy. Every university belongs to a specific region. जैसे हम लोग का states होता है, वहाँ पे regions होता है, and every region has their fund, which is called the regional scholarships, which is allotted for people with low economic values. So, for example, if you can show them a certificate that, okay, so and so is my family income, I don't have so much, property. It is coming under a certain bracket. You do an application, and then they provide a list. Based on that list, you can get your complete tuition fee waiver as well as you can get money from the university. So I know people who have gotten these scholarships who don't have to pay any tuition fees. They get like meal cards, for example. I think 150 euros per month के लिए उनको meal cards मिलते हैं, and then they also get I think 3,000 euros 4,000 euros a year. So overall they can end up spending not so much from their own pocket if they get these regional based scholarships.
Mm.
That's one. And number two are the merit based scholarship. Merit based scholarship भी दो टाइप का होता है. One of them is university specific, मतलब university का खुद का फंड रहता है to give you merit based scholarship. So जब आप एप्लीकेशन कर रहे हो, आप अगर if you're an outstanding candidate, if you have really good profile, तो you're already eligible for a scholarship. तो university बोलेगा कि हाँ ठीक है, we are giving you complete tuition fee waiver and we'll give you let's say 3,000 euros a year. That is
Mm.
very university specific. जैसे Polytechnico में they have certain departmental scholarships like that. Padova में भी था, Porto Torino में भी था. So this is the second one. And the third one is the government also gives you merit-based scholarships. So उसमें दो टाइप का होता है. एक होता है MAECI, which is given by the Ministry of External Affairs, और एक होता है IOIT, Invest Your Talent, which is also given by the Foreign Affairs. So if you apply there, they'll take your interview and they'll also see your SOPs, blah blah blah, and based on that, they'll also give you a scholarship. One of which I have, which is like you don't have to pay any tuition fees, and they will pay you a stipend. So there are multiple options of scholarships when you're applying to Italy, and if you are a good candidate, if you have a good profile, then you can definitely pretty much study there for free. So
Mm.
that's one
Okay.
of the
So
good
at
things
what
I would
stage
say.
do you get the information that you will get the scholarship? Like you applied, you got selected. After that, it
Yeah.
is decided whether you will get the scholarship.
No, actually, there are two types. For example, when you apply, when you just do the basic application process, उसी
Mm.
basis में sometimes they evaluate the
Mm.
departmental scholarships, the
Mm.
ones that I was talking about. वो आपका initial applications के basis में ही आपको evaluate कर लेते हैं whether they will give you or not. And the other ones that you have, उसका अलग time frame होता है. For example, the need-based scholarship, उसका time frame will be like you will be applying in July and August, and then you will get to know by late September or early October once you have gone there, And for my case, जो दूसरा वाला वो था like the merit based, the one I applied, it has a specific time frame. So it will be like in March, let's say from March 1st to March 30th, you can apply for this scholarship, or April 1st to April 30th, you can apply for this scholarship. And then they will release the results, I think late June or early July. So if you're lucky enough, then before going there, you already have a scholarship in your hand, and then you know that okay, then I don't have to essentially pay for it. That's one. And to answer your second question, when you were talking about let's say someone doesn't have a scholarship and they want to do it in the second year, in Italy, all the colleges में TARA का उतना मतलब programs नहीं है. But then if you talk to, I know people who are actually doing it. For example, if you get in touch with your professors who are under a specific research group and they have certain fundings, and then you get involved in those research groups, then you can get a good amount of TA shifts. Say, for example, 1,000 euros a month or 800 euros a month.
Okay.
That's one. Yeah. Or you can do a part-time job,
Mm.
something like this.
Okay.
But
So
yeah.
if a student who got selected in this kind of prestigious universities, which are within top 100 universities, but he
Yeah.
does not have any money, he does not have any support system
Mhm.
from parent side, then Rajdeep, what you will
Yeah.
suggest him? How he can proceed further?
Um, yeah. Firstly, of course, go through the regional scholarship route. Regional scholarship route, may you just have to it's a bit hassle-some, but then you just have to get some documents from, like get your income certificate, get your property certificate, get your bank balance certificates, make an application, and then you wait for it. So that can give you complete waiver. Like I said, that's a good way to go on about it. Secondly, you can go there and you can look for internships. And Italy, there is one good thing that certain colleges, they do not have very strict attendance criteria. So, for example, you can also work in a full-time internship and do the college at the same time. So I know people who actually do that. After the first year, they get an internship, and then they pretty much earn a salary and they're willing to pay for it. Thirdly, you can get an RATA, like I said, then you have to be a bit informative. You have to once, because up India से ये सब पता नहीं लगता है. Once you go there, once you interact, once you go and see the research groups and talk to the professors, then you can manage an RA ship, and from RA ship you can earn a decent amount of money. And then the last option is, of course, you can get a part-time job. But for part-time job, like I said, learning the language is a bit essential if you're working in that sort of a field. But I think these are the four ways that you can actually finance your own studies, and a lot of people do that. People work part time and they study, and it's not only us Indians, even Europeans do that. It's expensive for them as well. So yeah.
Okay. So like in German university, you need to block some amount, let's say 11,000 euro or something. So is that
Yeah.
also similar in Italy?
No, it's not a blocked account in this case, but you have to show certain proof of funds. So when you're applying for your visa, I think you have to show something around 12 lakhs, that there
Okay.
is 12 lakhs money in your bank account, either your bank account or your sponsor's bank account.
Hmm.
And if you're going for a bachelor's degree, then you have to show 18 lakhs INR that is there in your bank account. So after visa के लिए apply करते हो, then you have to show that, okay, I have this certain amount, and then you have to show them an affidavit that, this amount is there for the studies of my ward or
Okay.
studies of my child. Yeah.
Hmm.
So blocked
Hmm.
account is not there. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Rajdeep, coming to postgraduate opportunities, like so, suppose I completed
Mhm.
my master's there, what are the typical
Yep.
opportunities available to me then?
Yeah, of course, you can look for a job. Like I said, I mean, the job market is there. It's quite good for places like Milan, Rome, the industrial sector, industrial hubs. Usme, it's pretty much the same as in all of Europe. You won't have placements like India. You will participate in job fairs, and then you will have companies coming to universities, opening for positions. And you can either go for that, or you can start with an internship. In Italy, generally, you don't get a full-time job just directly. पहले आपको एक internship करना होता है, which is like a 6-month internship, and then they give you a contract. If you don't want to work in Italy, since you have a Schengen visa, and I think there's something called job search visa, you can also look for jobs in different countries. For example, I know friends who have gone on to work in Germany, in Spain, in Switzerland. And if you're not going willing to do a job, then you can obviously go back to academia. You can go for a PhD. You can go for a PhD in Europe, or if you want to stay in academia and work, I know people who are working as research scholars. So just after you graduate, if you're willing, then you can just stay in touch with the university and work in one of the research labs. That also pays you a decent amount of money.
Okay. So do we have
Yep.
this 1 year and 2 years master's program or only 2 years master program in Italy?
जितना मैंने देखा है, it's mostly 2 years programs.
Okay.
Some of them are 1 year, but I don't exactly remember specifically which universities. But in
Hmm.
general, in Italy, there are 2 year programs. It's quite intensive. Yeah.
हम्म अच्छा ये वीजा का जो प्रोसेस है राजदीप थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है क्या इटली का?
Yes, sir, it is quite complicated.
हम्म.
Yeah, I think
ओके.
it would be safe to tell you that the application process and the entire process is the easier part. The visa process is the more complicated part because you have to deal with a lot of documentation,
ओके.
the timelines, and then you have to go through a lot of bureaucracy. You have to go through Indian bureaucracy, then you have to go through Italian bureaucracy, and not a lot of good, like clear information is available on the internet. But like I think I spoke to you last time about this as well. If you want to speak about visa, it's a different video. So it's a bit complicated, but it can be done. Of course, like I am there. I have thousands of people who are going there. It's a bit complicated. And let's say आपको अगर मार्च में if you get let's say March or April में if you get the selection, and then you have to start your visa process right away. क्योंकि there are certain requirements for your degrees to be, stamped with the Ministry of External Affairs in India to show the eligibility of the degree. Then you also have to do something called declaration of value, which shows that okay, your degree is of some value and it's not done from some random university.
Mm.
And then you have to prepare your financial documents. So it's a bit lengthy process and a bit complicated, but then if you have information, then it's doable, obviously.
Okay. So I think, Rajiv, we have covered more or less all the points. Anything which I
Yeah.
missed and we want to share with students, if you think of anything we have missed.
No, I think you have pretty much covered everything. And like you're saying, people they don't know about these, universities. What are the opportunities? Even when I was starting out, I was mostly looking into Germany and England, because those are the buzzwords. And I would suggest anyone who is starting out, like Sir said, now is the time, because if you're, of course, your PDA is going to help you in every step. They really helped me out with shortlisting and all the process and SOPs. But you need to, do your own researches. You need to find, okay, if this country is good for me, if this course is good for me. And you need to keep information to yourself, because the more you keep information to yourself, the more clarity you get. And yeah, so I would suggest that, like, start doing your researches from August itself, so that you can have some, breathing time till your application. And for your SOPs, please get it vetted by Sanyam sir, get it vetted by whoever is there from your PTR, because that plays a really good role. And yeah, people who are thinking that okay, I'm not from a good university, etc., please don't reject yourself, let them reject you. This is a mistake a lot of people do. हम खुद को
Yeah.
ही reject कर देते हैं, and we should
Mm.
always apply and see, because I've seen people with like random backgrounds gotten into it because something उसका profile में कुछ अच्छा click कर गया हुआ. And it's a long process. You have to be very patient. And like it's a 1 year process, sir. आपको ही पता है, like
Yes.
even after you get the admit, and then the visa, and then when you get there, everything. So like, be in touch with your seniors, be in touch with the mentors from your PT, and ultimately it's going to be worth it. Like, don't worry. And there's a lot of options out there. So I
Mm.
would say, yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers it, I
Actually,
guess.
Rajdeep, this statement which you
Yeah.
gave, that don't reject yourself, let university decide that, is very, very
Yes.
crucial, because I have published a couple of my interaction with students. Like
Mm-hmm.
those who wrote
Mm-hmm.
GATE exam could not get IITs, admission in IITs for masters,
Mm-hmm.
but got NUS,
Mm-hmm.
got into Technical
Wow,
University
exactly,
Music, got
exactly.
into
Yeah,
RWTH.
yeah,
So these are the
yeah, exactly.
examples. So
Because
not.
पता है ऐसा है सर कि
Hmm.
like our evaluation criteria in India and the
Yeah.
evaluation criteria in there is very different. हम लोगों का is very binary. आप ये
Hmm.
एग्जाम क्रॉस कर रहे हो, मतलब आप सिलेक्ट हो
Hmm.
गए हो, फिर आपने क्या
हाँ,
किया वो किया, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हु आर यू, आप कहाँ से हो, नथिंग मैटर्स.
हाँ, हाँ,
बट देयर it's an overall profile evaluation. Even I'll just give you some examples from myself. मतलब मैंने भी कुछ कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज में अप्लाई किया था. And like I didn't even apply to the scholarships, and I thought I would not even get it. And
Hmm.
I got into the university, but I hadn't even applied for the scholarship, so I self rejected myself. ऐसा भी मेरे साथ
Hmm.
हुआ है. So it
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense, right? Because you are not the evaluating team, it's
Yes.
them, and you
Yes.
don't know what they like. It's just your job is to like make sure that you can make a genuine story, like it show genuine interest that I do want to study here. And even
Hmm.
if you don't have a really good background, even if you don't have like really good grades, if you have done something leading up to the fact that you want to apply there, and you can showcase it and they can see it in you, they are going to select you, because they don't expect you to know everything. आप वहाँ पे पढ़ने ही जा रहे हो, so they just want to select eligible candidates. So please don't reject yourself. This is a mistake even I have done. And you'll be surprised once you apply. Like, you will get into universities you don't even expect.
Yes, that is true. So please think like
Yeah.
you may get it. So just explore the
Yeah,
opportunities
exactly.
and surely
Yeah.
you will get it. Okay, Rajdeep. So that brings us to an end of this wonderful interactive session. And
No
I
problem.
must thank you once again, because a lot of good inputs have come from your side. And I'm very sure at a very appropriate time, this interaction we have done,
Yeah,
because now
absolutely,
is the time
absolutely.
when students should gear up. And next
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of months are the admission season for students.
absolutely.
They have to apply in that. So I wish you all the very best for your rest of that time left in masters,
Thank you,
Rajdeep.
sir. Thank you.
Look forward to meet you
Yeah,
once you are graduate. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.